Hello and welcome to a new and improved edition of GWTV's Unstoppable. Yep, that's right. We finally got rid of Andy Weber.
But in all seriousness, we could not be happier for Andy. He was recently promoted to general manager of the GWTV station. That means superstar sophomore Parker Jensen is now our executive producer and is tasked with trying to keep Cole and I in line. I feel bad for him already.
Along with great new content and a brand new team, we have a brand new studio to provide you, the viewer, with the most in-depth sports coverage we have ever done.
As par for the course, we'll take you through a quick rundown of how your favorite teams and student athletes have performed so far this fall. We'll cover men's and women's soccer, men's water polo, and women's volleyball. We'll also be covering men and women's cross country and men and women's tennis.
Finally, Sean will talk with Tanya Vogel, GW's Director of Athletics and Recreation. All this coming up on Unstoppable.
Right wing, good. Dively leaking out.
The men's soccer team has gotten off to a lackluster 4-5-1 start. The reason? Poor offensive production. Against strong competition like Duke, Brown, and Lehigh, GW has only scored 1 goal and was shut out in 2 of those 3 matchups. Most recently, the men's soccer team has lost twice to in-conference opponents. The Colonials now find themselves at the bottom of the Atlantic 10 standings. Nevertheless, there has been strong keeper play by Thor. Yeah, that's right, we have Thor on our team. Racking up 5 saves against their recent opponent, George Mason, he continues to be a star for the team.
Yeah, and you know, Cole, he may not have the locks of Thor, but Arnhoef has certainly made some thunderous saves.
Yeah, he has, Sean.
But to talk about another strong game that he's had, if you want to look at that 0-0 double OT tie against the number 15th ranked Duke Blue Devils, in that game, Duke got off 29 shots, 9 of them on goal. Arnhoef still picked up the clean sheet, so very solid performance in a big game for them.
Yeah, there's no question that physical play on defense and good goalkeeping has been a huge component of GW's game plan. Yes, Arnhoef has been playing well, but if you look at some of those wins and even overtime losses, it's been a whole defensive effort. And GW's defense, quite frankly, looks stout. They're conceding less corner kicks, so opponents aren't getting into the box, they're not getting offensive opportunities, which is encouraging to see. And it's not surprising that Coach Craig Jones believes that his team is playing unreasonably well defensively. Against Atlantic 10 teams, the Colonials conceded 3 goals to Davidson and 3 goals to George Mason, so that's something to consider and something to look out for in conference play. But simply put, the defense just needs to keep playing well, and if they do that, they're going to keep getting W's.
Well, Cole, you talked about the defense and the goalkeeping. It's been pretty consistent, you know. So I think what we really need to look at here is that offensive production. You mentioned it briefly in your rundown. We know that this team can score goals. You know, they put up 6 goals against American. But what I think's been an issue for them is finishing late in games. You want to look at that, you know, the Duke game, 0-0 double OT, 3-2 overtime loss to Davidson, 2-1 loss to Brown. They've been in a position to win. They've been in those games, and especially late in the game. And when you've got your keeper, you know, grinding through that whole time, you really need to get a spark and really pick him up. And so, you know, this could be a matter of they're a young team, and you know they're still trying to figure out some chemistry. But you know, in instances like this, I really think your veteran players. So I'm looking at senior striker Dylan Lightbourne. They need to provide a spark, and that's what this team needs.
Yeah, with such stellar goalkeeping and defense, you really got to give that back line some support. And if they keep forcing the ball into the offensive box and keep attacking, I think you're going to see this team improve.
Right. And now, Unstoppable's own Oliver Peacock got the chance to catch up with head coach Craig Jones and some of the players. Let's see what they had to say.
We're here at the GW soccer field on the fully integrated Mount Vernon campus to watch over the 2018-2019 soccer team practice. I talked with Sam Rivas about his first year on the GW men's soccer team and how his time with the squad has been so far.
We've done well. I think we've had some tough games that we've had to go up against some better teams, especially on the road, and I think that we've done well to kind of move together as a team. You know, we have a lot of new guys that are getting lots of minutes, so I think that it's really about continuing to come together and as we move into conference play, just being a whole team to try to win the league.
Junior Colin Anderson had this to say about his newly found role as an upperclassman.
I guess the obstacles is just, you know, you have to lead the team, you know, lead by example, make sure the underclassmen are doing their jobs, you know, and performing in school and whatnot.
Coach Jones gave us his thoughts on the first-year class and the team overall.
Our first year class is great. We finished the game, I think 3 of the back 4 were first year players. We've started 3, maybe 4 first-year players. It's a great recruiting group class that's come in, and not just on the field. They've already established themselves, off the field, in the classroom. So it's a very good group, and as you see, they're getting playing time, which is awesome. We have some threats defensively. We've done very well in games, so we're excited. We got a long way to go in the A10, so hopefully we'll keep pushing on and get some wins.
It's good to see the men's soccer team is raising high for this season. I'm Oliver Peacock, and this is Unstoppable.
Thanks, Oliver. The start to the season for women's soccer has been equally lukewarm, as they currently own a 6-5-1 record. After rattling off 4 solid wins to start the season, the Lady Colonials then dropped 2 of their non-conference games, one of which was to crosstown rival Georgetown, and then tied Maryland before turning their attention to the A10. The start to their conference play has been average, to say the least, as they now have a 2-2 record. The women have created many offensive opportunities for themselves in big games, like in their 4-0 win against Rhode Island, where they got off 20 shots, but their finishing hasn't been consistent.
Yeah, Sean, like you mentioned, offense has really been a strong suit for the women. In the 10 games that the Colonials have played, they have put up a total of 175 shots, which is the 4th highest in the Atlantic 10. Alexis Williams has been great too. She has 4 goals on the season thus far, so she is really driving home that offensive production. I hate to do this though, I will be interjecting as Stephen A. Smith. However, the offense has been good. However, they haven't been assisting. They have only tallied 11 assists this year, so team play is not a strong suit for GW. And I also want to talk about defense. GW has conceded 50 corner kicks, which is above league average, and the Colonials are also getting careless with tackles. They have committed 97 fouls, which is astronomically high.
Cole, it's really seemed like it's been inconsistency that's hurt this team thus far. When they win in a convincing manner. They'll match their offensive and their defensive production. We saw that in their 4-1 win against Stetson, and again that 4-0 win against Rhode Island that I mentioned. But then they'll go up against conference opponents like Fordham, George Mason, and they'll get shut out and give out 2 or 4 goals. So I'm not sure if this is an energy or a focus thing. You mentioned that 97 fouls that normally correlates with the focus or the energy level of a team late in a game when they've been grinding against another team. But they're really going to need to recenter themselves if they want to make a big push through the rest of their schedule. I think one player to keep an eye on as the season progresses is Sophia Pavan. She picked up 2 goals in their most recent win against St. Bonaventure, pushing her total to 3 for the season. She also has 3 assists to match that, so if she can keep up that consistent play, this team should be able to find their ground again.
Sean, did you know it's legal to drown somebody in the sport of water polo? Yeah, anywho, I digress. If there is one word to describe the GW water polo team, it's competitive. The Colonials currently hold a 13-4 record and are 5-1 in conference play. GW has played ranked opponents 6 times, winning 3 of those contests. I really want to emphasize how good GW is. They are currently ranked 15th in the country, and the upside to this program is excellent. Sean, what have you seen from the water polo team that stood out to you?
Cole, the main point that I want to emphasize here is just how gritty this team has been against tough ranked opponents. You can go all the way back to the first game of the season against 20th ranked Wagner. They won that game 15-14. You can go on to the Princeton Invitational. They beat number 16th ranked Cal Baptist 8-7 before falling to number 9th ranked Harvard 12-11. Later on in the season at the Aggie Roundup, they lost to number 17th ranked San Jose State. And then most recently, they beat number 15th ranked Bucknell 20-9. That's a team that recently they've had somewhat of a rivalry with. Now, if you look at all these games, even if they're wins or losses, I think what you can take away is that they have had just a high level of energy constantly. They've always been taking it right down to the wire, and they have a grit to just not give up. They want to win these games, and I think that's a real testament to their discipline and to how they're coached. Of course, they also have a few contributors who have been keeping things rolling for them.
Yeah, they do, Sean. The leader of this team so far has definitely been Adikin Destici. He's a monster. So far through 17 games, he's racked up 50 goals, and on top of that, he also has 34 assists. So a total of 84 points. He's getting it done on the offensive end. But it's just not offense. He does it on the defensive end as well. He's racked up 27 steals, which is good enough for 2nd on the team. So his strong play is not surprising. He's been in this position before, quite frankly. And so they're going to continue to look to him as a cornerstone, and that's going to be the rock of this team.
Cole, he has been a monster. Once again, you're absolutely right. But I think another player that's worth mentioning is Andrew Mavis. He has 52 goals so far. That's 2 more than Destici. So between the 2 of them, it looks like they've got a really fearsome attack that should carry them through the rest of their schedule.
That's awesome.
We expect good things from them. Now moving on to a sport where it's definitely illegal to drown people, women's volleyball. The Lady Colonials sit at an even 7-7, and while they are currently on a 2-game losing streak, the team now looks forward to 3 games at home, where they're 4-2 this season. After progressing well through their non-conference schedule, the girls now dive deep into Atlantic 10 play for the remainder of the season. A high point for the team came when they won all 3 of their matches in the Dig the District Invitational, an event that GW co-hosted with Georgetown. Always good to impress on your home turf. Cole, what have you seen from this team so far?
Well, Sean, I think it's really important to highlight the improvements that this team has made. Around this time last year, they were 5-11. So bad play has gone to mediocre play, if I'm being frank. But they're playing much more cohesively as a unit, and they've mitigated errors, which has been great. On the receiving end of the ball, GW has also been playing very well. And I think it's also just fair to say that their offensive attack has improved substantially. They're getting a lot of opportunities at the net, and once they start converting those, this team is going to flourish. So far, GW has attempted 2,000 kills thus far, which is above Atlantic 10 average, so that's great. And Skylar Ia is putting together a great season. She's currently ranked 5th in Atlantic 10 in kills. Bella Bowman, she's been great defensively. She is ranked 5th in digs. And finally, Jamison Lee has gotten her teammates involved with 9.25 assists per set. So overall, some key contributors making a good contribution.
Yeah, Cole, and you know, it seems like they're definitely playing with a lot more chemistry as a unit. When we talked about this team at this point last year, you know, you're right, they were in a much different place. One of the things we speculated about was whether this was an issue of, you know, were they a young team? Did they not have enough veteran leadership? But, you know, you mentioned Skylar Ia. It looks like they're really looking towards her. She's a junior. I know they've also got some other good senior contributors on the team. So it looks like they're really looking to some of that veteran leadership to provide some stability for them. And that's going to be important for them, again, as they grind through the rest of their schedule. So we're going to kick it to a quick commercial break now. But when we return, we're going to keep the rundown rolling. So stay tuned.
Hi, Colonials. Did you know there are hundreds of ways for you to volunteer with GW? Each year, over 1,500 alumni, parents, and friends contribute thousands of hours to make our community stronger. There are countless ways you can volunteer, so it's easy to choose an opportunity that is most meaningful to you, like connecting with students and alumni based on your student involvement, identity, or personal interests, getting involved with your local alumni network, mentoring a current student via our online mentoring platform, connecting with prospective students through undergraduate admissions opportunities, serving on an industry network leadership council, becoming a social media ambassador. The list goes on. No matter where you are in the world or how much time you have to give, you can connect and volunteer with GW. And the best part, it's easy to get involved. Just visit alumni.gwu.edu/volunteer to learn more about these and other opportunities. Because of your service to GW, you are able to make a direct impact on the lives of former, current, and future students. We look forward to working with you. Raise high.
Welcome back. The men's cross-country team has competed in 3 meets. In the Mount St. Mary's duels, GW came in first place out of 5 teams. GW TV's Pride and Joy Andy Weber became the first GW men's cross-country runner since 2014 to win an event. Andy's stellar performance led the Colonials to a top podium finish. It is also the first time the team has won a meet since 2014. In the Army Open, the Colonials finished 3rd, just behind West Point and Temple. The Colonials also found success in the Paul Short Run. Sophomore Jackson Cronin tallied his 3rd individual straight top 10 performance. GW now looks to the Princeton Invitational to continue their success.
Similar to their male counterparts, the women's cross-country team has gotten a good jump to the start of their fall season. They placed 2nd out of 6 teams at the Mount St. Mary's duels back at the very start of the year. Then they placed 2nd out of 5 teams at the Army Open. In the Mount St. Mary's duels, junior Suzanne Danaheim finished 2nd with a time of 18 minutes and 25.95 seconds. Senior Madison Yerke finished right behind her with a time of 18 minutes and 35.46 seconds, putting 2 Colonials in the top 3. Danaheim followed up her strong showing with a 5th place finish at the Army Open with a time of 20 minutes and 5.9 seconds, and then a 19th place finish at the Paul Short Run. That finish was the best individual performance for GW at this event ever. Very strong efforts from Danaheim and her teammates to start the season. Let's hope they can keep up that energy.
The GW women's tennis team has been marked by the exceptional play of Maria Ciupacha. In the highly competitive premier collegiate tennis event, the Oracle ITA Masters, Ciupacha played well against some of the best players in the tournament. Ciupacha also played in the Riviera ITA Women's All-American Tennis Championships. Ciupacha fought hard, forcing her match to extra points. The senior then closed out singles play in the consolation bracket against Florida State's top competitor, but fell 6-2, 6-4 in those sets, respectively.
Rounding out the rundown now with men's tennis, where the boys have only competed in one invitational thus far, but registered a strong showing and saw some of the potential of their younger athletes. In the event, first-year Zichang Zhang made it all the way to the individual blue flight final in his first collegiate competition. He finished as the runner-up, but still a very solid showing. In the doubles event, freshman Ryan Navarro and Hanyu Liu captured the Orange A double flight championship with a perfect 5-0 record. Again, very solid showings from young contributors on the team. And now, folks, the moment Cole and I are sure you've been waiting for since the start of the show. Our executive producer, Parker Jensen, joins us in the studio. Parker, what have you got for us today?
Well, thanks, Sean. I'm looking forward to taking the place of Andy Weber, and I'm very excited to work with you guys.
All right, well, let's hear what you've got now.
All right. Let's start off with this month's top performer, Attican Destici, the men's water polo player who's been lighting it up in the water, scoring 50 goals and dishing out 34 assists. He's the team's top performer, and his effort has resulted in him receiving the Colonial of the Week award. He'll be GW's go-to player as the team tries to finish out the year strong. And now it's time to tell you the games that you just can't miss. Men's soccer will be playing at home against a hot St. Bonaventure team who is 2-0 against A10 opponents and will be sure to give GW a run for their money. That game's on Wednesday, October 10th at 2 p.m. They'll also face VCU, also undefeated against A10 opponents, on Saturday, October 13th at the same time. Women's soccer will be battling it out for a 7th place spot in the A10s against Dayton on Sunday, October 14th at 1 p.m. And rounding it out with men's water polo, who will match against a Navy team with an undefeated road record on Friday, October 19th at 7 p.m. And those are the games that you just can't miss. Back to you guys.
Yeah, those are all going to be great games. Really looking forward to all those matchups. So thank you for that, Parker. Seems like you're actually really getting a taste of that limelight.
Well, thank you.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Sean will get the chance to sit down with Tanya Vogel, GW's Director of Athletics and Recreation. Stay tuned.
All right, we'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
I'll be ready. Well, these guys finish up. I got a few things I want to show you. Come with me. Over the summer, we gave a lot of things a new fresh coat of paint and a new look, including the Vern Shuttle Express. Take a look at this. Oh, there you are. I thought I'd lost you. Come on with me. I want to show you the new all-you-can-eat dining option out at the Mount Vernon campus. Hey, I can charge my phone in here. I'm stuffed. You got to try the mac and cheese. It's great. I got one more stop to make. I got to get my gear for the year. Let's go to the bookstore. You can't have too many GW ties. You need to get out in your buff and blue. I want to see at all the events and the games, raising GW high. One of the things I heard from a lot of our students is we need more community space, a place to eat, study, hang out with friends. Like this one. This is one of our new spaces. We need to get going. Got to get back. This is going to be an exciting year.
And action.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You've heard of some of her accomplishments before, but it is still worth noting how Tanya Vogel's involvement in intercollegiate athletics is apparent at every level. First, she played soccer as an undergraduate at GW. Then later on, she returned to the university as the head coach of her former program, where she led the Lady Colonials to 82 wins. She briefly left GW to serve as the Associate Athletics Director, Senior Woman Administrator, and Title IX Deputy at Northern Arizona University, but then returned to Foggy Bottom in 2015 to fill a similar role. On July 1st of 2018, Vogel was named the Director of Athletics and Recreation at GW. She served many dedicated years, won a few accolades, and She's even been on Unstoppable before. Joining me here at the desk once again, Ms. Tanya Vogel. How are you doing this morning?
It's great to be here on Raise High Friday.
That's right. That's right. You got the colors on. You know, I tried to wear my buff and blue.
You did a good job.
I got close.
Yeah, we've got a big volleyball match tonight, so I'm preparing for that.
All right. All right. Now, jumping right in here, what do you think that you took away from your time as acting director of athletics that you think is going to help you now that you're filling the role full time?
Excellent question. The biggest thing I took away was the support that I have on campus. The number of people, faculty and staff members that reached out during those first few days in January, and then that continuous support that I've received. Many of the people in our new student experience shop, people from across campus have just been so supportive. And for our area to do what we want to do, there's no question that I need to have the support from people across campus.
What goals do you have for GW Athletics for this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. What I would say, we always pride ourselves on being champions in the classroom, champions in the community, and champions in competition. So we still aspire for excellence in all of those areas. But I was asked this question by Mark Diaz at one point. He said, you know, how do you envision GW Athletics going forward? And I said, we will know that we are successful when we become the heartbeat of campus, when we can truly help to bring our campus community together. So whether that's students, faculty, staff, alumni, or local community members, we really want to be at the heartbeat of all that GW is doing.
Now, there's been a decent amount of turnover in some of the head coaching roles, especially from last year, you know, kind of like in swimming and diving with Coach James Winchester. How do you feel that those transitions have been going with the new head coaches that have come in?
It's been really exciting. You know, this is what I will say. The coaches that have left did such a great job of building their programs that it made those positions very attractive. So we had such excellent candidate pools, and we were able to go out and get the right next leader for our programs. And so we'll take, you know, James had an opportunity to go coach at a Big 12 school, and we went out and recruited actually from our own conference. We took Brian Thomas, who had done an outstanding job with the women's swimming program at St. Bonaventure, and brought him on board, and he's hit the ground running. Another thing that's interesting, we've been able to hire people that have already been head coaches. And so anytime you have the opportunity to go out and recruit people that have the experience of being a head coach to come in, again, the transition is much more seamless, and they're able to get going very quickly.
What kind of effect do you think that a transition like that has on the athlete? You know, they're only here for 4 years, and so it's maybe a little different than a professional sports team where, you know, that's a player's career versus this is they're only here for 4 years, and then if they get that turnover in a short amount of time, you know, how do you feel like they handle that?
Yeah, you know, that's an excellent question. If you think about it, the relationship between a head coach and a student starts well before they step foot on Foggy Bottom's campus, even for the first time. Usually the first interaction happens sometimes as early as sophomore or even freshman year in high school. And so that relationship is more than just the time that they've had here in the coach-player relationship. So it is a big deal, and it's something that we talk about during the hiring process. One of the things I've been impressed with the coaches that we've brought in is immediately they see those student athletes as their student athletes. So it's not, oh, that's the former coach, you know, that's his player or her player. They see them as their own. And they have to understand, even though we ask them to create their own culture, there's a culture that already exists. And so working with the leadership within a program is important, meaning the student leadership in that program, to really identify what's going on in this environment and how do I bring my own, you know, how do I put my own stamp on this as the head coach while being sensitive to that transition. So one of the things that I try to do as the leader of the department is help a head coach understand I'm not looking for change. I'm not looking for the impact to be immediate. I'm asking you to be, you know, conscious of the fact that we're in this for the long haul.
Now turning maybe the focus more towards the university with these next couple questions, how supportive do you feel that the university has been of the athletic department? You know, President LeBlanc had made athletics a big focus for him when he first came into his term. You know, how have you felt that relationship develop so far over the last couple of years?
Oh, it's been outstanding. Here's the key. The key is this: when you look at our 5 university initiatives that President LeBlanc brought to life, we fit in really well with 3 of them. Okay, we fit in really well when it comes to improving undergraduate student experience. We fit in extraordinarily well when it comes to the establishment of campus culture. And then I believe that when we're doing our job well, we're actually going to inspire philanthropy. So athletics, the way that I feel we are moving is in a direction that supports the university initiatives and can really enhance them. So it's it's been a great partnership with President LeBlanc and with Mark Diaz, with Provost Maltzman, with Lori Kohler and her group. We've really come together and embraced this idea that we are one GW.
Now, GW recently just took their largest freshman class, and at least in recent memory, provides a great opportunity to get new students involved and excited about GW athletics. What are some of the steps that your office is looking to take to make GW athletic culture a greater part of student experience, especially for some of those freshmen?
Yeah, excellent question. You know, we're looking at a lot of different things. Some simple things are to go where the students are, and so we've actually worked with campus to make sure that our student athletes are living in residence halls where other students are, to make sure that we're not as segregated as we may have been previously. We're talking about how do we open our doors to the student population, because during the day, Monday through Friday, and even on the weekends, our doors are shut. And it's really, when we talk about a silo, it becomes a true silo when you're locking the doors and not allowing people to come in. So we're talking about creative ways to open our doors. We'll be announcing soon that we'll be hosting some Sunday night football parties in Smith Center, and reaching out to students from, you know, I think one of the games will be the Eagles against the Cowboys. And so taking a look at what are our students from Texas and other people that support the Cowboys, what are students from Eastern PA and other students that support the Eagles, what are they doing on that Sunday afternoon? Can we bring them into Smith and feed them and provide them with a venue that's comfortable? So we're looking at little ways outside of our traditional intercollegiate activities to reach out and support students and provide them with a great experience. I believe that if we make Smith Center a very welcoming environment, that people will return there on game night.
Now, I do have to ask about this, but earlier in September, the scoreboard in the Smith Center did follow what was undergoing maintenance. Is there any additional information to provide on that at this time?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things that I would say. One, we're super grateful that everybody's safe. The story that got out quickly was that it fell. The bottom line is, or the truth to the matter is, it fell about 10 feet. Right. And it fell on one side, so the damage was somewhat limited. And as you can understand, this happened at about Tuesday 1:30. Right. We hosted volleyball games in the main arena at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. So our facilities team and the team from Daktronics, the people here in the Division of Operations, did a great job of getting things secure and safe, and got the scoreboard back up and running in a matter of a few days. So we're very grateful. It could have been a lot worse, but we're very grateful for how it turned out.
And now one final question. Where do you envision the public perception, and now by public perception I don't just mean here on campus, but I mean across the U.S., where do you see that public perception of GW as an athletic school going within the next 5 years?
Appreciate that you've given me 5 years. Now, Patrick Nero did an outstanding job in the previous 7 in helping to create a truly broad-based athletic program, and I have the same aspirations of continuing to support all 27 programs. Where you make national news is with your men's and women's basketball programs and a few others that nationwide get the support, whether it's on ESPN or the other big networks. So we'll continue to invest in all 27 sports. We'll continue to try to promote and enhance our men's basketball program so that they can get back to the top of the A-10 conference and be back in the NCAA tournament. One thing that I think is important to note, all of our A-10 sports are now on the ESPN Plus program. We're really excited about that partnership with the Atlantic 10. So we're streaming on everybody's device all of our soccer games, going into volleyball games, the basketball games that aren't covered by a national network, and we'll continue to do that with all of our Atlantic 10 sports. And we're looking for other ways to get some of our non-A10 sports on different platforms like Facebook Live. So it's pretty easy to follow GW Sports. We just encourage everybody to log in and follow us.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today.
It's great to be
Thank you very
back.
much.
Yeah.
And that's all the time we have on the show today. We couldn't cram in any more content. Thank you for tuning in. As always, check out our website at gw-tv.com. Also, check out our social media platforms for new content to come. Thank you.